So what's a night eagle? It conjures up images of some kind of mythical bird, a griffin or thunderbird perhaps. But night eagle? The only thing the Google turned up was LED golf balls. But in the light of day, this, my friends, is a very handsome bird indeed, uncaged. This is the complete Night Eagle cage kit for the Nikon Z8 4317 with the top handle, cold shoe mount, and HDMI USB-C cable clamp. The cage itself is also available as a standalone unit, 4316. So let's see what this mythical creature looks like. Stick around as I demonstrate options for a complete video rig built around the Z8. Hi, Ray here with this raptor of the night, the Nikon Z8 cage from SmallRig. It does indeed have something of an eagle look to it, I think, especially the golden eyebrow at its apex. A golden eyebrow for an apex predator. All joking aside, this really is a beauty. Gun brown color, curvy outlines, vintage leather look on the right side to blend with the Z8 grip, red stripe to echo the Nikon swoosh. Now, my favorite thing about SmallRig video rig components is their practical, no-nonsense design. I have no less than 4 previous units, this will make 5, including the original Z8 cage, 3940, one for the Z6, the Z9, and the ZF cage, 4261 that I reviewed most recently. They're functional and handsome at the same time. And they appeal to the kid in me that had a huge Meccano collection. But you must admit this fits the functional bill, as well as cutting a fine figure. Kudos to designers Kong, Yate, White. Let's take a closer look at the main features of the cage before I rig out my Z8. Lots of attachment options as usual. On the eagle's head, the ubiquitous 1/4-20 threaded holes, the ARRI locating hole. That's my preferred option, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Like some of its predecessors, this cage has a built-in NATO rail on the left side. Again, hold that thought. Arca Swiss dovetail. There's also slots for neck strap if you want to add one back in. Nice rubber pad on the inside of the base to protect your Z8 camera. In my review for the original SmallRig Z8 cage last September, I built what you might call a run and gun rig. In contrast to my first rigs, for the Z6 and Z9, those were decidedly more appropriate for tripod mounting, given their size and weight, especially the Z9 rig. This build will be pretty much the same as the last Z8 build, and I'm going to introduce a couple of new components to help us adhere to that run and gun category. As far as installation, this cage follows the usual method recommended by SmallRig. This step requires the initial removal of the camera strap split rings on both sides of the Z8. Before now, with other SmallRig cages, it's only been on the right side, if I recall. But I guess SmallRig wants to make sure this rig is absolutely rigid. Slip the form-fitting cage over the camera. Note the package does not contain the camera. At first, lock in place with a 1/4-20 screw. You can use the included wrench with flathead screwdriver and Allen key, or SmallRig's own multi-tool. And I always have one of these in my bag or on my bench. So we just pass the M2.5 screws through the camera's strap lug and tighten them into the cage. And those are stored at the bottom left side of the cage. There's an included cold shoe, which you can mount wherever's best for your use case. And that's likely where I'll mount my wireless audio receiver. As I think I've said in every rig video so far, a side handle is, in my opinion, an essential component, at least on the left side. Most of the traditional non-retro cameras from Nikon already have excellent ergonomics, especially the generous grip. So I find that gives me a comfortable, grip on the camera. Since we're trying to keep things on the light side, I'm not going to stress a right side handle, but there's no doubt that's an option with benefits in terms of stability and for creating smooth pans and tilts. And SmallRig's rotating NATO side handle that I featured in a recent short, I think is the way to go for this build, both in terms of function and form. It's a real beauty, and it comes with a NATO rail in the box, though we won't need it for this build, unless we're going to go for the right side handle. This handle comes in universal and left side versions, so choose one side or both. A top handle, also not absolutely necessary, has its benefits, whether just to grab the camera out of your case or to help with low shots. It also provides extra attachment points for things like mics and monitors. Again, I have several options with both NATO clamp and ARRI locating hole attachments. But really, if you're going to make this thing fly, you're going to need the Eagle Wings top handle. It features my preferred ARRI attachment option, a row of threaded holes, and handy hidden screws, 1/4 20, 3/8, 16, and M2.5 hidden inside the rubber wings. You never know when you might need one. The matching handle is available, as we see, in the full kit. When it comes to audio, this style of rig is best outfitted with either a lightweight mini shotgun mic or preferably a wireless system. In my experience, as quiet as the motors are in these modern lenses, the Z-mount lenses are excellent. There's still slight noise and vibration that can be picked up with a camera-mounted mic, especially these smaller units. So, after all is said and done, I prefer to get the mic off the camera whenever feasible. A wireless system, of course, has the benefit of weighing almost nothing. And if you can mic the talent, interviewee or whatever, that's a perfect solution. You can also mount the mic transmitter on the rig and transmit to the camera or external recorder. That's something that I often do. Much will depend what wireless system you use, whether you can record an internal safety track to the receiver, etc. I won't go into those options in this video, but I recently bought into Rode's latest system, the Rode Wireless Pro with 32-bit float. I'll briefly mention the Z8's video specs because, along with the Z8, they're impressive. We can record internally, everything from excellent 8K 10-bit in SDR, N-Log and HLG to ProRes and Nikon's proprietary NRAW. Many options, and they're all beautiful in my experience. So we don't really need an external recorder when it comes to monitoring the Z8. We do have that excellent articulating screen that, to my mind, is the best of all worlds. Despite not needing an external recorder, I really think a larger screen helps with things like focus and especially advanced exposure tools like waveform, RGB parade, false color, etc. On this rig, I'm running the newer F500, a really affordable 5.5-inch monitor. And of course, the Z8 also has full-size HDMI input. Praise be. And this is where the cable clamp comes in. The hinge clamp holds your HDMI cable securely to protect the input. And remember, the Z8 has dual USB-C inputs, one of them power delivery, which is what you'd use for any external power option. So this feature is really appreciated. Speaking of powering this rig, it'll depend on your use case. But the Z8's internal EN-EL8 15C battery, I was going to say 18C, that's the Z9. That's pretty good at 2880 milliamp hours. In my experience, depending on variables, I'll get about an hour of power. You can call it the power hour. But it's conceivable that you'd want to extend that by adding external power. Again, the Z8 includes that second USB-C port. So you can use the PD1 to run it with something like a power bank or a full-on V-mount battery. I've been using SmallRig's VB99 V-mount battery successfully for over 18 months now, and I've been very happy with the performance over that time. So in this case, I'd likely add a base, rails, and SmallRig's V-mount battery sled, which includes a plethora of outputs and master power button, and the VB99 battery. Now there are simpler V-mount plates available without all the ports. They'd be lighter. Depending on your viewpoint and arm strength, this might be considered the limits of run and gun, using a V-mount battery and whatnot. But really, quite necessary if you're, say, shooting long time lapses or if you're out and about and you don't want to be bothered changing batteries. Oh, and while we're talking V-mount batteries, SmallRig just teamed up with DSLR video shooters Caleb Pike to create the 212 watt capacity and 140 watt power delivery VB212. Maybe a bit big for run and gun. Well, it's not exactly night yet, but we are here with the Night Eagle Cage for the Nikon Z8 and the Night Eagle handle. And we're just here shooting some B-roll on this beautiful summer evening. And speaking of B-rolls, I think we can get some B-rolls right over there. There's my suggestions for rigging out a Z8 with this new Night Eagle cage option. The regular price for the cage only, $99 US. Regular price for the kit is $169 US. And I'll add affiliate links in the description if you're planning to buy and you want to help this channel at no extra cost to you. Now, SmallRig sent me these products for review. Otherwise, this is not a sponsored video as such, despite YouTube's requirement that I disclose I received something of value in exchange for this review. But my opinions are entirely independent and no other benefits or obligations ensue. So I hope you found this video useful and maybe entertaining. If you did, please give it the old thumbs up. And if this is your first visit or you're one of the 80% of viewers not subscribed to my channel, please do consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next installment. In the meantime, take care, cheers, and we'll see you later.